So I got a 1996 Mercedes W202 C-Class C-220, and the problem I'm having is my gauges. The lights work, all the indicator lights, but you turn the key on and get the motor started, you have no temperature, no fuel, no speedo, and no RPMs. Nada. So what I've been reading about on these forums is these stepper motors go bad. They get worn out because the gauge has got to calibrate themselves every time the key is turned on. I don't know why. They think that's a good idea. Let me show you. So far it's my fuel gauge. You want to watch these gauges, and you want to see the needle. You want them to be steady. Now you can see on my fuel gauge, maybe it's jumping up and down just ever so slightly. So I'm going to try to show y'all how to fix this. Hopefully it has to do with the resistor. 100 watt or 100 ohm, 100 ohm resistor that I have to solder in between the coils of the stepper motor. And to do this, you're going to have to pull the gauge cluster. This is a homemade tool I made. A piece of hickory wood. It was a drumstick with a stainless steel piece of wire that I made. And basically, you're going to stick this in between the gauge. Here, you wedge it in there and then give it a little turn, and it makes your gauge pop out like that. You're going to want to do it on both sides, but you could probably pull up a video if you don't understand what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to get straight to the point. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and try to finish this off. You're going to have to turn the steering wheel right about there. Press down this. Slide this little tab down. Unplugging your harness. No, I got that out. It's the same thing on this side. Now, somebody's been in here before and broke the retainer. It still plugs in there really nice. I don't see it's going to fall out. See, it took me a while just to even pull that. That's it. Gauge is out. Okay, got the gauge cluster out. It's on the workbench. I'll show you how to take this apart. And if any of your lights are out, I'd go ahead and replace these bulbs while you're here. You can order the bulbs on, I think on Amazon. I don't have a part number. You have to do some research on that. But here we go. It's got 3 clips on the top. One here, one in the center, one on this end, one on the bottom right here, and another on the bottom right here. And what you're going to do is just a regular screwdriver and pry just a little bit up and very lightly. It doesn't take much to pop these loose. And you're just going to kind of walk it on each one of these. And you can see just walking down from starting here going across, it's already opened up. And we'll do the bottom here. And same thing, just kind of walk it. And it should release. Got it broke apart now. Be gentle taking this off. You're gonna see two of these rubber things on the side. They're what operate your time and your odometer and different functions with the push buttons. So just keep track of these. Set them off to the side, or you can put them back back there, right here where they were. And we're just going to set that aside for now. Okay, so now you got the gauge cluster apart. You got to take this back cover off. And basically it just clips in right here, right here. There's one on the bottom, another on the bottom. Same thing here. So basically you're just going to walk around. You can do it with your fingers. And just kind of lightly pry up on each one of those. Until you get it to release. And, that should do it. Yeah, there we go. Got the back cover off now. Alright, so on the what I'm having is this fuel gauge here. The needle was jumping up and down, just barely moving. And it's a stepper motor problem, like I mentioned before, because they want these gauges, they got to calibrate. I don't know why, but they want them to calibrate every time the key's turned on. So basically I've already done this one, and my what I did for the fix is you're gonna jump this part of the fuel gauge. It's the part of the actual stepper motor, and you want to jump from here to there with 100 ohm resistor. If you're having problems with other gauges, if another gauge is doing the same problem, it's probably the same setup as far as joining these two middle ones, right in between here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's probably going to be something similar to that. You know, I'm having a fuel issue with the gauge jumping up and down, so this was the fix. And so you just want to solder a resistor in between there. And basically after you do that, you just put it all back together the way you took it apart. Okay, I wanted to add, if you don't know about resistors and the color codes, the values, I would go on some forums, or there might be some good YouTube videos about it. You know, if you don't know how to measure it with the multi-tool, I just go by the color codes. So if you don't know about resistors, go ahead and read up on that, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, I just wanted to add, make sure press all these needles down as gently as you can. You see this fuel gauge is a little high. It needs to be rotated down, and just make sure you can get it stepped down as far as you can. Make sure each needle, I mean this one's going to be a little bit high, it looks like, but you'll notice because of the resistor, the needle is going to be a little higher. I believe that's what the fix is. It's just rotated the stepper motor just a hair, that way it can calibrate. So I just wanted to add that. Okay, we're going to go install. I'm going to go ahead and show you. I'm going to install this back cover again, and basically you just put it on the top and turn it over, and you want to press down, pretty much hear it snap going all the way around, And once you hear it, everything snap together, it should be good to go on that. I think I got it. There it goes. Yeah, just make sure everything's snapping together. Okay, yeah, you can really hear it snap when it goes together. Alright. Okay, for this next part, these little rubber dubbers, you want to line those up again. There's only one way they can go. And basically, they just plop down in there, like so. And just let it sit in there like that, do each side. Got it backwards. Alright, now you can clean this up if you want. I didn't get anything on the inside of this, so I'm not worried about trying to clean the inside or anything. Just make sure that your the buttons here on the side are not pushed in all the way, and they move freely. Basically, you can kind of shake it and hear it. But basically, you just set this thing down on top of it, and you press it all back together, watching your buttons. And you'll hear it goes, you know, all the clips will snap once you get it all back together. So then go ahead and check these buttons. They should feel pretty solid. They should spring back. They should, you know, feel like they were before you took it out of the car. I mean, I'm sure you remember how your buttons worked. Just make sure they're all functioning, and that's it. Other than that, you reinstall it back into the car, and I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll get caught up from there. Okay, I got my gauge cluster reinstalled, and here we go. Turn the key on. Got all the lights. The fuel gauge is working. The temperature gauge is working. Fuel gauge is a little higher, like I said, not by much. I mainly go off the trip meter, which I have a full tank and only have 23.3 miles on. So I don't think that's going to bother me pretty much. I usually, anyway, fill up before a quarter of a tank. Go ahead and start it. Well, typical Mercedes, got to do it twice. So got the RPMs functioning. Got one light over there. It's something else to fix, it looks like. Pretty typical. Been going through a rash of things with this car, but anyway, I got this working, and it was a resistor fix, evidently. We'll just see how long it'll last. I do have another cluster, instrument cluster on the way as backup. It does work, but it has, if anything, I can use it, or I could use parts out of it. So I hope this helps, and thanks for watching this video.